What's up, guys? Block FPL here. Today, let's just start off by thanking Salah for making my triple captaincy look so good, so much better than Duffy last season with the one-pointer. Salah in the double game week on the best team we've seen in forever. I thought it was a no-brainer. If you didn't have Salah in your triple captain Mane, that's just really unlucky. If that would have happened to me, I would feel really hard done by right now. But hopefully, you can try to move on and still have a good season from here. Triple captaincy chip isn't too important. Like, for example, I gained 16 points off of it. Does it help? Of course, but it's not like this big make or break thing. I obviously finished 50th overall last season, and my triple captaincy got me 1 point. But that's just the way it goes. So I don't really want to talk about captaincy because I feel like if you have Salah, you're captaining Salah. Again, Salah had a game where it was like if he provides the clinical finishes that we have seen from him in the past, he still gets that same quantity of chances, you're seeing a hat trick out of him. So he's still yet to have like the most clinical finishing, and maybe it's just a little bit lucky because he hit the post and he's been really close and he looks good. It's not like he's really flubbing it. I mean, he did against Manchester United. He flubbed that the cross that Robertson sent in, but I do think that he's playing well and informed, and he's feeling confident. He's feeling like he can finish. So if that just converts into the real clinical level of finishing, like he did the season where he really went beast, almost like a Messi level finishing or something like that, then we could be in store for a big game here, and that's why I'm choosing him over Alexander-Arnold. I do think Alexander-Arnold is probably the second best captain option out of anybody this week. I haven't really looked at it too much, but so let's talk about Vardy, because it's a big deal because Vardy, the coach, Brendan Rodgers, said that Vardy will potentially play. The word potentially is not what we want to hear, but he will be playing the first game of the week. So if you're refreshing Twitter like I will be, I have to wake up at 7:30 in the morning to do it because I live in the United States. But I will find out if he's starting, and if he's not starting, I may have a plan to get rid of him, but I don't think I will. And here's why. I just don't like the other options. It's that simple. If I was to have a plan if he's not starting, let me get in this other player, I guess it would be Aubameyang. That's who a lot of people are going for, Aubameyang. But I don't trust Arsenal enough to spend that much money on a forward. I feel like he could be potentially a trap because all the fixtures are good, but I don't know. I sort of want to see him come back and play a game. I guess that's all I'm saying. I don't really have an opinion on him because I haven't seen him play in the last 2 weeks because he's been suspended. So I haven't been able to watch him and see how he's doing recently. I don't know if he's going to come back confident and with something to prove after the red card or what. I don't know what he's thinking right now, and that's sort of how I like to play a lot of times. I try to put myself in the player's shoes and just imagine how they're feeling from a psychological perspective. That's that's the part, that's like a percentage of what I do at least, and I just don't feel like I can do that. So I don't know, I feel uncomfortable bringing him in, but maybe I'll make a panic transfer when the clock's ticking down to the deadline. Who knows what he'll do. The other option is Aguero, and the reason I wouldn't be getting Aguero in is because he just played 90 minutes. Yes, they subbed him off in stoppage time, but he played 90 minutes against Manchester United. There's no guarantee he starts. I think he has a good chance to because it's a big game and you would think they would want to, but it's just pep rotation, and that's not something I'm willing to spend that much money on. Now, people that have been watching my channel will say don't do this, but let me just preface this next player. Okay, first of all, I've been really good with English strikers this season, right? I got in Vardy at 8.9. I got in Ings at 6. I got in Abraham at 7 right before their great runs. And I captained Vardy them weeks. Anyway, so one player has a good matchup this week. And I'm tempted to get in for just this 1 week, but I won't do it just because the rest of my teams will have issues I need to fix. But, when the deadline's approaching, I can't say what I'll do or what I won't do. But no, I'm really not going to do this because I don't trust the team enough. But the striker that has a good matchup this week and played well last week and goes on streaks of bad form and then good form is Callum Wilson. My team is named Block Callum Wilson, so, obviously I should get him in, right? But no. He did have, a really high XG last game, but he only took one shot, so I'm sort of confused by that. I actually think Harry Wilson is just as likely to score as many points as Callum Wilson. Harry Wilson loves to shoot, and he's been looking pretty decent lately. If it was a 1 week fantasy game, I would probably get in Harry Wilson because he'd probably be cheap, and who knows. But it's not a 1 week fantasy game. I went with Adama Traore instead. Bournemouth are hard to predict. The one reason I won't get in Bournemouth players, their fixtures aren't the best after this game week, I don't know what to think about him if it was just one good week. The reason why I might think that's just one good week is because I believe it was in a double game week with Duffy when I triple captained him last season when basically Bournemouth just killed Brighton. It was like 5-1 or whatever. So maybe that's just a good matchup for Brighton. For Bournemouth. Like maybe they're just really good at killing Brighton sometimes, and maybe they'll just go back to being okay. But Aston Villa at home is a good matchup. Aston Villa have been conceding goals, so who knows? Literally, who knows what happens in that game? I do think it's a good matchup for Grealish, and I'm happy to have him for that game, though. That's all I can say about that. Now, I have a benching headache, and just to conclude that, no, I probably will not get in Colin Wilson, but I'm saying if you want to take a punt on him, I'm not completely against it. If you're planning on wild carding after next week, get in Harry Wilson or Colin Wilson if you want to. I'm never gonna say don't get in Colin. Actually, no, I said that earlier this season. Never mind. But so benching headache is pretty bad this week, right? So I got Lundstram, I got Kelly, I got Holgate, and I have Ings. I have to play 2, sit 2. So right now I'm thinking Holgate and Ings play, but I'm really tempted to play Lundstram. I've sort of ruled out Kelly from this whole thought process because of just how bad Crystal Palace have been. He doesn't really have goal threat. I just look at him as a lower tier player, I guess. There's also a possibility that he gets benched, but I think he plays better than Ward defensively, so I don't really think he'll lose this spot. But again, I don't know what they'll be tactically going for against Sheffield United. I think Lundstram has a decent chance to play, but Sheffield United just signed another central midfielder now. This guy looks like he's more on the defensive side, whereas Lundstram gets forward more. I don't know how this impacts anything, but I don't know if he's not really a like-for-like swap for Lundstram is what I'm saying. The guy they brought in is 6'5", can't really shoot or anything like that from what I've seen, or from what I've looked up on him. But so the reason I would play Lundstram over Holgate is just because Lundstram has more attacking threat, and I'd say the matchup's better. Crystal Palace away is better than Watford away. If Lundstram's going to start, if somehow I know that, which I won't, but if I'm willing to take the risk, I would play Lundstram over Holgate. But Holgate's just a safer option because I know he's going to start for the most part. And Watford away, it's an okay matchup, middle of the road. Everton typically concede a goal away, but I guess you could say they haven't really kept a clean sheet in a while on the road, but they still defended well on the road, so maybe they're due the lucky clean sheet on the road, which could happen. But either way, I already have Pickford, so I sort of have it covered, but it's just, do I want to double up or not? But I try to look at those things independently. I don't say, oh, well, because I already have the goalkeeper playing, that means I'm going to bench Holgate. That's a safe option, I get that, but just because it's safer doesn't mean it's better. Just because something's riskier doesn't mean it's better. So I just look at it, I try to keep the things independent. But I guess it sort of does depend on what rank you're shooting for. If you really want to go up the rank, then take the risky option. I think you get it. But so Ings is a weird one because I saw the editor posted on Twitter today about how Ings is playing his old team, so maybe that gives him a little more of an edge, a little more of a drive to score, which I like that because I didn't really consider that. So that's sort of in my head a little bit, but this is probably the best defense we've seen in a while. I mean, think about it. They've kept so many clean sheets now. Yes, they did in the double game week. They did lose the one clean sheet, but that was against a respectable team, and that was one of I don't know how many where they've kept clean sheets over the last 8 games. So when you think at it like this Liverpool at Anfield, it's the worst fixture possible that any team's had over the last 5 years. Potentially top 3 worst fixtures possible over the last 5 years of FPL. For a striker that's not on the best team ever, and who knows if they even start him because maybe they save him for a game where they think they have a chance of winning because obviously Ings is injury prone and they bench him sometimes. So maybe I just play the 4-4, the 4-5-1 and just bench Ings, play Lundstram. I think that's what I'm leaning to right now, and it's likely that you have those players too, or at least one of those players. So let me know what you think about these players, if you're playing them or not. Ings is a really hard one to judge. Holgate and Pickford are hard to judge for me as well. I don't think I could put myself in their shoes effectively in terms of where their headspace is, because the last game they were up 2-0 for 93 minutes, and then they concede 2 goals in 2 minutes and they draw. So I don't know if the manager and the staff and the captain of the team was able to effectively frame the situation as, oh, look, we played a great game, we still haven't lost in a while, we just messed up pretty much on set pieces and long ball style plays for 2 minutes, but other than that we played a good 93 minutes before that. just keep doing what we're doing, like basically turning the experience into a positive experience when we look back on it. But at the same time, they could be like really shot in confidence right now after that, because I mean that's pretty devastating. Like, it just sort of, you don't even comprehend the fact that, oh, we actually drew this game. Like, it feels like we deserve to win. So either way, I feel like they'll understand the quality they showed. So that's why I'm not completely against doubling up, is what I'm saying pretty much. So another option for Vardy that I forgot to mention earlier is Jimenez. Now, this is more of a long-term option. I did bring in Traore for this matchup though, and I'm going to start him obviously. And I talked about how I think that Wolves can counter Manchester United. So maybe I double up on that, but I don't know if I'm that confident in that. In fact, I'm not. But just getting into Vardy, we still got to take into consideration that we're getting into Vardy here. I don't think the gap from like Vardy to Aubameyang, or maybe like Vardy to Jimenez, is really worth a transfer as much as, like, for example, I did Mane to Traore. Mane's hurt, obviously that's going to be one of my garbage bench players coming from him. To Traore, a player who's been doing well. The gap there is pretty much worth a transfer in my opinion, given the fact that you're also getting plenty of money, which allowed me to get Van Dijk in for Williams. The gap there doesn't even need to be explained. So I do think Aubameyang is a better option than Vardy. Am I going to use a transfer, or in my case a -4 for it? I don't know. Not without seeing Aubameyang play. Arsenal can be hard to predict, and I haven't seen him play recently, so I just don't feel like I have enough evidence to make the transfer. And I get that you're trying to predict the future and jump on the bandwagon before it happens, but I just don't see it right now for me. So obviously I could easily be wrong on this. I'm not the best with Arsenal players usually, I would say, and I tend to just stay away from them because it's just too much for me. I'm just like, I don't trust them enough. I just keep it simple. But Vardy's been so good for me. I got him at 8.9. Surely I have to keep him in a home game where I'm going to know going into the game week if he starts or not. So those are my thoughts on those things. I can't say it's not worth it. Like, if you want to get rid of Vardy, I'm not going to say don't do it, because I see the upside there. If you don't, especially if you don't see any other transfers to make, I see the upside there where you can get on the bandwagon before it happens. But that's my thoughts on there. Nothing concrete at all. It's really a weird situation. Who knows how Leicester even play? I'll have to see if Ndidi's going to play. If Ndidi plays and Vardy plays, I'll be confident in Vardy then, because Ndidi is really important to this team in terms of the effort he puts in defensively. He's a center defensive mid that loves to defend. Defensive mid nowadays, there's like a lot of creative defensive mids. Well, this is my opinion, to be a really good defensive mid, it's more about discipline than creativity. You can't leave your position to go try to create something. That's why when you see players like Pogba try to force into like a number 6 role, my opinion, just doesn't work out the best. Obviously, you're going to get the attacking benefits of that. But players like Conte and Ndidi that really love their role of getting tackles in, and that's what like they take the pride in, instead of going forward and being flashy. That's the kind of defensive mids that really impact his team, and we saw that when Ndidi was hurt. And maybe he still is out, but Chutery just can't quite do the same job as Ndidi. So basically what I'm saying is Ndidi's a good player and really helps Leicester if he's back. I think that sort of can change the form of Vardy. Obviously, that has nothing to do with the fact that Vardy missed the penalty. But maybe he can get a little more chances than he has been, because his XG and everything, I think it's actually been the same, but his finishing has been worse. Look, I don't know. I'm just trying to find a reason to keep Vardy, I guess. So maybe I'm rationalizing here. But I'm going to end the video there. Hopefully you got something from this. Let me know what you think I should do in terms of benching, because that one's tough. But I'm definitely captaining Salah. I hope you have a good game week, unless you have like completely different players than me. Then I hope you have a bad game week. But I will see you next time. Also, if you like the content, I would suggest you subscribe. Most of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed yet, so go ahead and do that. Anyway, I'll see you next time.